back to Gen X Toy Box, everybody. So we have another really impressive interview this evening. I'm telling you, like, I am so unworthy of all the talent that we've had on this show lately. Like, I am completely humbled. So today we will be interviewing the renowned Art Baltazar, who has definitely made his way in his industry. He's worked with major publishers like DC, Dark Horse, Archie Comics, and his own publishing company, Oh Yeah Comics. Oh yeah, I
Oh
love it.
yeah.
And he has an amazing and unique art style that has just paved the way with titles like Itty Bitty Hellboy, which was completely adorable. Tiny Titans, you did, Superman Family Adventures, Little Archie. And not to mention like your titles, like the All Yeah Comics and the Revolution, Gilbert, Powers in Action. Like you've done a lot of
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
and you've done some team ups with Franco too, which is really cool. And
Yeah.
you also teamed up with Chris Giarrusso on Encounter and Franco
Yeah.
on Encounter. That was cool. That was a good read, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. That was good stuff.
yeah. And so with all of your success, and you even own your own comic book stores, which is
Yeah. We
cool.
own 3 of them. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Like that's almost everybody's dream, like the geek culture, to own a comic book store. Like that's you've arrived and you've got a comic book store.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty
that's pretty
cool.
cool. So again, welcome Art, and thank you for doing our interview tonight. I really appreciate
Oh,
it.
you're welcome. Yeah, this is cool. I
Yeah.
missed it last week, but I just got so overwhelmed with all the work I'm doing and time and kids and feeding people. And so today was good. I knew today. I wrote it on my calendar. So
Yeah. Oh,
we're
well,
here.
I'm so glad. And like the time zone's all different and everything. So
Yeah, everything's
we love it.
goofy.
I know, right? And
Hmm.
everybody, tonight we're in a completely new zone over here. This is my office, by the way. You guys have never seen this. Our
Nice.
internet was acting up. So now we're in my office. So yeah, you can take a look around and see some of the, I'm starting to build this up with toys. But
Hmm.
so our, I tried to squeeze as many of your accomplishments as I could into, just a little
Yeah.
intro. But I shortened the list a little bit. But
Oh,
I wanted
yeah.
I wanted to congratulate you on all your accomplishments and
Oh,
all that you've
thank you.
done. Yeah,
It was a good intro, though. That was hit a lot of stuff.
yeah, I was like little bit of time, a lot of stuff. Let's fit the really good
Hmm.
stuff in there. So I would
Cool.
like to know more about you. Like you and my husband known each other very well, like back in the day, back in the beginning. Like he was talking
Yeah.
about yourself from Wolf Boy. So like it's like all the way.
Yeah.
Um, but I wanted to know more about you before that. Like what was your first experiences with comics and when did you start reading them and what did you read?
Oh, man. I read comics since I'm a little kid. I would read the books that had no covers because we would go buy books at Hollow Hollows, and Hollow Hollows was a Polish deli, and I never knew the name of it, but my mom would call it Hollow Hollows because every time we would go there, the guy behind the deli would go. He would say, "Hello, Mrs." So she would call it Hollow
Oh,
Hollows.
love it.
So yeah, so it was two old guys who would buy lunch meat from. But on the rack there was these bundles of comics that they were in bags, and like you could buy like 10 of them for $1 or whatever it was,
Mhm.
however much they were. But she would buy a few bags for us, and me and my brother, my cousins would share. And we open all these comics, and none of the comics would have covers on them, and I didn't know why until later. I found out those are returnable covers, returnable comics, because the
Oh,
stores would send the covers back if they didn't sell, and then they would get their money back or whatever. But
okay.
so they would sell the interior. So I always thought that's what comic books look like. I never
Yeah.
realized comic books didn't have covers, and I was about 6 years old then, 5 6 years old, and I would read like Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and
Mhm.
I'd have a lot of Archie in there and Sad Sack and
Mhm.
Casper, and
Oh,
I read everything. A lot of Little Richie Rich. Yeah, they had all the books in
yeah.
there, and even Justice League. Yeah, it was cool. And I always wonder, like, Justice League had all different guys in it than they did on TV, because I know the Super
Mhm.
Friends is what I used to watch all the time, and
Awesome.
so there was characters like Black Canary and Elongated Man and Green Arrow were in the comic book, and I didn't know who they were,
Mhm.
so I thought that was cool. And so that was my probably first exposure to comics. And then around that time, I had an older cousin who was in high school, but I was about 6, 7, 8. I know it was before Star Wars, and So this was
Mhm.
around 75, 76. I was a little kid. I was 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
And so my cousin would come over after high school, and he'd be on a football team. So he would come over to my house all muddy with his dirty clothes, and
Mhm.
he would stomp in the kitchen. My mom yell at him for dragging the mud in the house. But he would always bring these comic books, and he had the Incredible Hulk because the Hulk
Oh.
cartoon was on TV, or the Hulk
Um,
with Lou Ferrigno was on
oh
TV.
yeah.
And that was what that was the first time I ever saw a Hulk. Well, besides comics, and I had the Meagle figures, and so a lot of the superheroes I first was exposed to were either on the Spider-Man show, the Spider-Man show where they had the song da, 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 da,
Mhm.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that was my first exposure to Spider-Man, and then Batman, of course, with Adam West, and then the Super Friends with Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman. And then
Wow.
when my cousin came over with these books, I remember he brought over the Wolverine X-Men book where Wolverine was slicing up the Hellfire Club on the cover.
Oh
I
wow.
don't even know what number it is, but I didn't know who that character was, and I thought it was Batman or some. I didn't know who it
Okay.
was,
Oh yeah.
so I started reading that, and imagine like, and then he brought over the naked Gwen Stacy issue when Spider-Man was fighting his clone
Mhm.
and fighting the Jackal, and it was they cloned his girlfriend. She's running around through the book with no clothes on. So I remember reading those and thinking, man, these are cool. I
Right.
was like 7 years old, 6 years old,
Right.
and I thought those were cool, and that I thank my cousin to this day for getting me into comics by accident because he would bring his
Right.
comics over and leave them in my house. Then he would come up next week and bring more, and he would always bring new
Oh,
ones. So it was cool.
that's
That was
awesome.
kind
And
of how it's kind of how it happened.
yeah, and I was just talking to someone about that, how it's like unintentional things that happen along the way make such an impact later. Like if what would happen if those comics weren't left there? Like where would you be? Like you don't know. It made such
Yeah,
influence. Like it's really neat to think that something that what we consider was small back then turned into such a big thing. So it's really cool. So I'm grateful for him for bringing that over. So that's cool.
yeah, yeah. It was cool
Hmm.
because a lot of my comics were like that. I wouldn't know. I didn't know that they came out every week or once a month or whatever for
Hmm.
a while. And I would most of my influences come from cartoons from TV,
Oh yeah.
like Hanna-Barbera stuff and Bugs Bunny and Woody Woodpecker and
Oh my
stuff like
goodness.
that. But then the comics were just awesome. I used to draw them. I used to draw in the books, finish up Spider-Man's
Oh
webs, and so you look at my a
wow.
lot of my old books have the little doodles in them.
That's awesome. That kind of like
Yeah.
segues into my next question too. It's like
Mhm.
reading the comics. Like when did you start looking at those stories and that art and say like this is what I want to do or like this is something I can do? Like how did that journey start and like how did that progress? Like did you go to school? Did you internship or just like draw like crazy? Like how did that work?
Yeah. It started with I was around fifth grade, and my dad gave me a little notebook, the kind of notebooks that the workers keep in their pockets, the little spiral. And he
Mm-hmm.
gave me one. He said, "Here you go. Here, you just gave me one." And so I looked at it, and I drew a character on every page. Like I would draw Flintstones and then
Mm-hmm.
Bugs Bunny. I filled up the whole book, and I called it My Life Story Part One. And then he gave me another book, and I filled that book up with characters. So every time he gave me a notebook, I would fill it up with every character I could think of. And then he gave me a book. Then eventually, the next book, I ran out of characters, so I started creating my own. And
Awesome.
that's kind of where it started. And I remember that being in about like fifth grade, where
Awesome.
I started creating my own characters in fifth grade and started making up all kinds of different guys. And a few of them I still use, like a few of the monkey characters and my duck characters, and some of the guys influence some of the characters now. Yeah, and I have a character called Looney Loon that I'm going to launch pretty soon.
Mhm.
I'm going to put him on
Awesome.
a Comixology, but he's a character I created when I was in fifth grade. And the Powers in Action guys, I created them in high school. So it
Wow.
all comes from that. Like fifth grade, I exploded, and I knew that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. I just knew that I had to draw, I had to make characters, I had to
Mhm.
figure out how to make comics somehow. Yeah, and
Awesome.
that's it. Just started like when I was around 16. I was in high school, and I was with friends, and we developed a club in high school, and it
Mm.
was called the Curie High School Comic Book Artist Club. So we
Nice.
would meet every week, and we would just bring our drawings and hang out and bring comics. And I remember buying the first Ninja Turtles, like the first one, and the first
Ooh,
Crow, and all of these books that are real expensive. I
yeah.
remember bringing them to the class and leaving them there, and then we would just leave them, and then we come out again, and we'd bring it back, all the books back out, and we'd read them and draw. So I had that first Ninja Turtle book. I don't know what happened to it, but we that's when I started making my own comics. I started folding the papers
Oh,
and
nice.
folding it and stapling it and
Wow.
making mini comics, and that's just it just all evolved. I just always wanted to draw, always wanted to make stuff. And then,
Awesome.
when Star Wars came out, I was drawing all those guys, and,
Oh, yeah.
drawing superheroes and Star Wars, and I still draw that stuff.
Yeah, right? Seriously, yeah, it's all
Yeah.
fun stuff. Why stop? And, like,
Yeah.
did that carry over into college too? Like, did you go to college for it? Did you, like, intern
Yeah.
somewhere?
Yeah. I went to a performing arts school, high school,
Nice.
which you either have to be acting, singing, radio, something like that,
Mm.
painting, drawing, dancing. So I went there for art, and I kept drawing comics. I was drawing stuff all the time. And then I went to Columbia College in Chicago, which
Cool.
was another art school. And same
Awesome.
thing. They have music, radio, dance, theater, art stuff,
Yeah.
computers, all kinds of stuff like that. And I went there to learn how to craft, to
Hmm.
painting, drawing,
Yeah.
airbrushing, and then I also took lots of fiction writing classes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, because the school sets it up for a bachelor degree,
Mhm.
but you don't have to follow their curriculum.
Hmm.
So I took classes that I wanted to learn from, so I could make comics. And
Oh,
if I didn't like the class, I would either drop it or get a different one, and
mhm.
didn't want to finish, or so I took a lot of fiction writing, and it was really fun. And so I kind of minored in fiction writing, majored in illustration,
That's
and then
awesome.
that's it. I just wanted to make comics, and then after I graduated, I had to figure it out how to do it, because in I graduated in 1992, and there was no
Mhm.
internet yet. There's no
Oh, yeah.
internet. There's no emails.
Yeah,
So
true.
I can't. There's no cell phones. I can't search things online. So
Mhm.
I had to buy this thing or I had to get this thing called the Yellow Pages. It's a really thick phone
Oh,
book,
yeah,
and it has
yeah.
phone numbers in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to research, and I started to go to conventions,
Oh,
and I would my first time I went to a convention, I graduated, and I went that summer to Comic Con Chicago, and I had my portfolio with me, and thinking I could go get a job now because I have my degree.
right?
And when I went, I went to the portfolio reviews. I signed up for all of them. I had like 20 of them, 18 or 20, 19, whatever it was.
Wow.
And I spoke to all these editors, and they all continued to destroy me. And they critiqued me
Oh.
and told me to go back to school, and said I couldn't draw and I didn't know how to draw. And they told me,
Oh.
you're not going to make it. You're no good. And so I talked to one editor. His name is Bob Harris, and he later became my boss at DC Comics.
Oh.
And he told me, he asked me when he's looked at my portfolio, he said, "Why are you trying to draw like everyone else?
Yeah.
All your stuff looks like everyone else's. This is what this like Image Comics was out at the time."
Mhm.
And I said, "Well, this is what comics look like." Like
Mhm.
he told me, "Stop trying to draw like Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, that's what comics look like." And he
Mhm.
said, "What's that you have with you?" And I had my sketchbook under my arm.
Mhm.
And I said, "My sketchbook." He goes, "Can I see that?" And I showed him my sketchbook. And when he opened it up, it's filled with cartoons, doodles, and little
Yeah.
crazy characters and cartoony stuff. And he said, "Why are you trying to draw like all these guys? You're a cartoonist. Why don't you just make your own cartoony book?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." And then it clicked. And then like that was the
Awesome.
only time I ever had a portfolio review. And then after that, I went home. I was so mad at first, but then
Mhm.
he filled me in on that little. I clicked, and I'm like driving home. And I'm like, I'm gonna get a table at next year's show. So I got a table, and then I published my own comic. It was a little Kinko
Oh,
style, copy
yeah.
paper,
Mhm.
but that's how it started. And then with that comic book, I was able to walk around and talk to all the distributors that were there.
Oh yeah.
Capital City was there, and Diamond Distributors, and
Mhm.
Friendly Franks. There was 9 distributors at the time.
Oh wow.
So I was able to give them a copy of my books, and then I ended up getting all the distributors except for Diamond. But I had all of these guys, and they all told me that you they don't distribute that little comic, that mini comic. They'll only take it if it's a full size. And I'm
Um,
like, oh man, so I don't know how to do that. But then they all gave me numbers for printers. It
okay.
was a big network, and I had to go and talk. So I asked friends how they got their books made and all this stuff. So I ended up doing that, making phone calls and working part-time jobs to pay print bills and
Mm,
then stuff like that. And that's just how it happened. That was 1992. And
wow.
I finally, my first book went to the shops, to the comic shops in December of 94. So it took me 2
Awesome.
years to get books going. Yeah. I had to figure it all out, but I was determined, you know?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of
And
work, but it's like, I mean, because yeah,
yeah.
you had to network and you had to like the rejection, first of all, like that to
Yeah.
ultimately feel that rejection for your portfolio review, but continue going, like that shows a lot about your character that you're just like, I'm not laying back. I'm not, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna do it. So like
Mhm.
that's perseverance. That's pretty awesome. So
Yeah, I didn't know what else to do. I was working, I always had a part-time job or a full-time job doing something I didn't like, either stocking shelves or mopping
mhm.
floors or
Yeah.
driving trucks or something. And I always end up quitting those jobs when I would get a raise or a promotion. I
Mm,
would go home.
yeah.
And they, where you going? I said, well, I don't want to do this. I
Right.
want to be poor. I want to struggle and try to make comics my living. And
Yeah.
I always thought that if I was successful at something that I didn't want to do, then I would be stuck in that trap where I would get a credit card or an apartment, or I would end
Yeah.
up like life would continue. Like I'd get a girlfriend, we'd get married, and then, like I didn't want to do all that because
Right.
I wanted to do comics first. And that's where I was back then. And it took a long time to get going with comics, and it's just determination.
Yeah.
There's a lot of distractions that are thrown your way, but you just got to get past them,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really great. You had like a clear vision of what you wanted to do, and like you really didn't let anything get your way because
Yeah.
like that happens so much in life. So like I'm really glad that you just like stuck to it. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about your experience when you were working in DC. So
Yeah.
by my understanding, like you still work for them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
working on today. I've drawn some Super Pet stuff. The
Oh my
Flash.
goodness, I
I just drew
love
the Flash and Captain Cold today.
Super Bad. So, like,
Yeah.
what is it like working for such a major company? And like, what are some good experiences you've had along the way? And like, how has working there helped you learn and helped you grow?
Yeah. It was weird uh, how I got the job there because uh, at a convention years ago, I met my buddy Franco, and then we started. He turns out at that time he only lived a few miles away from me, like 20 minutes from my house. So I
Cool.
lived on the East Coast for a little while,
Mhm.
and I would go to his house and bring my sketchbook, and we would draw and goof around, watch wrestling, and eat pizza and stuff.
Mhm.
So I doodled this little character in my sketchbook that I didn't know what his name was, and I drew Patrick the Wolf Boy. It was the first Patrick drawing.
Mm.
I drew his face and I drew these fangs. And first I thought he was a vampire.
Mhm.
And then Frank was like, oh, he's cool. And then I drew him fuzzy. I'm like, how about let's make him a wolf? Yeah, yeah, he's a werewolf.
Oh,
And then we added the spiky hair and the t-shirt, and then he kept going. And then we said, how about let's make a comic book of this guy? Like, yeah, yeah. So we made the comic book, and it came out in 2000.
mm,
And so we made the comic book, toured around the US, sold this
mhm.
book all over the place, and did sketches, little crayon sketches of people. And I didn't know it, but one of our fans was an editor at DC Comics. Her name was Jan Jones.
Mm,
And we used to sell the comics to everybody. We didn't care. And
yeah.
like I said before, I'll never pitch, I'll never go to a portfolio review. So I abandoned that. Like I'm gonna do
Right.
my own comics, you know,
Right.
and they're fun to write with Franco. So I
Mhm.
don't want to go through that misery again.
Mhm.
So I didn't realize it, but all the editors at Marvel, DC, Image, they were all coming to us. Hey, can you draw me some crayon drawings? And can we buy that Wolf Boy we heard so much about? So,
Awesome.
and then I didn't know Jan was one of the people. So when I got home from some convention, um, I got an email from her
Mm,
asking if she could call me and talk to me about working at DC Comics. And I said,
mm,
sure.
yeah.
And I sent her my phone number and we talking. And at that point, my kids were, I remember one was eating with a spoon, the cereal, and the other one was eating with her hands, a little high chair. So
Yeah.
they were little. They were like 1 year old and 2 years old, real little.
Oh,
And so I'm on the phone with her, and she said, "Who are your favorite characters at DC Comics?" And I said, "Well, I love Superman. I love the Teen
mhm.
Titans."
Yep.
She goes, "Oh my God, we have this concept. We want to do Tiny Titans, but we want Patrick the Wolf Boy style comics, but with our characters." I'm
Perfect.
like, okay.
Yeah.
And then she said, I said, well, do you know anyone at DC Comics? And she said, I'm offering you a job. Like, oh, you're, and she goes, I'm the editor. I said, I didn't know you were an editor at
Yeah.
DC. And it was real cool. And after a weird phone call, I
Mhm.
hung up and I'm looking at my kids and thinking, I think I just got hired at DC Comics.
That's awesome.
So
So
that was
awesome.
it. And so she said, take your time, work up a pitch and some character designs. And I had them to her by the morning, that
Mhm.
afternoon, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And that was it. It just came from there. It
Wow.
was really nuts. And
That's
so
awesome.
I kind of I just did comics and made it work. And then you do stuff, and then people notice. And then if they want you, they find what you did. And it's like, I want
Sure.
that guy.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what happened.
that's
So
awesome.
I'm grateful for that. And Jan Jones is one of my best friends for life now.
Well,
Or
yeah,
she's no
seriously.
matter where she goes, I'll follow her.
Right. Yeah.
you know?
That was really cool. That's a really good way to get into it too. Just
Yeah.
by the way, do you want to job? It like seemed like the stars really aligned because they had something that you were already interested in. And so it
Yeah.
slid right in. That's awesome.
And
So
working with him was like, those are the characters I grew up with, Superman, Batman,
yeah.
and then to be able to eventually draw them, like with Super Pets, I eventually was able to draw them in there, and
Mhm.
they're real characters. I finally drawn their faces, and they're
Yeah.
speaking and for flying around. Because in Tiny Titans, there was a lot of gags where I wouldn't show the adults' heads, like
Mhm.
Charlie Brown, or
Oh
on
yeah.
Tom and Jerry, they would
Yeah.
never show the maid's face and stuff.
Mhm.
So I like to do that with in the time or Charlie Brown, you hear wah, wah, wah,
Oh,
wah.
oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what that was like.
It's still referenced today. I swear it's hilarious. It's
Yeah.
genius.
It's cool.
So, what advice would you give someone that's trying to get into your industry or is trying to learn to draw or trying to get into comics? Like, what advice would you give them?
I say make your own. I don't
Mhm.
know any other way how to get in the industry. And
Yeah.
if you want to write, just write every day. If you want to draw every day. If you want to make comics,
Mhm.
just make a comic.
Yeah.
The best way to learn from making comics is to make them. Because
Yeah.
my first series was called the Crybaby Adventures,
Hmm.
and you could tell when I read them now, um, they're real hurting, they're real corny, and uh, they're funny, but like innuendo funny. It's kind of like, well, that's where my mind was when I was 19,
Yeah.
20 years
Right.
old.
Right.
So they're like Wayne's World kind of funny,
Oh,
like
okay.
Wayne's World that movie.
Okay.
But
Yep.
it's kind of they're fun, they're cool. There's an adventure going on,
Hmm.
but as you read the story, there's 10 issues. As you get through the first two, by issue 3, the story develops, and there's a cool thing. It's still weird and fun, but they're fun to read. And they're all on Comixology. I have a Comixology page, which like 85 books up there, and
Wow.
Crybabies are up there. And it's so cool that everything I've ever done is now available digital. And I left it the way it was intended, the way I made them. So they're really silly and funny, but people dig them. I sell like a few copies every month. People
Oh, that's
download them.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
they're pretty cool. Yeah.
we're gonna put that information down because I was perusing your website before I interviewed you. I was looking at
Oh
all
yeah.
the stuff you did. So I was like, oh, look at all this stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna put
Oh,
that
cool.
down there so everyone can see it because there's a lot of stuff to look through. It's really awesome. So like
Oh, that's awesome.
at some point you decided to kind of like spread your wings and do your own thing. So you had like a
Yeah.
production company, Electric Milk, and you're doing great things with all
Yeah.
your comics. So how was that transition? How did it go over with your fan base?
Um, it's weird because the fan base, uh, they they don't see the separation. They just see it
Mm,
as one whole big thing.
that-
And I'll get letters from kids, like with a sketch of fan art from kids with, like they'll have Robin next to itty bitty hellboy, next to Action Cat, next to Patrick, and they'll all be on one piece.
mhm.
And so the fans don't really recognize the difference between the companies.
Yeah.
But as far as me, like with Electric Milk, that's my art studio, and
Mhm.
that's my very first self-published comics company.
Awesome.
And I went ahead and incorporated that. And so that's been my art studio since the early 2000s. I
Wow.
incorporated. And now when I deal with companies, when I work with companies,
Mhm.
our contracts are made out with Electric Milk. So it's really cool. So they hire an art studio rather than a guy. So
Yeah.
this way they can get the art, the story, the coloring, the lettering, they get it
Mhm.
all. And
Mhm.
it all comes from me.
That's
So it's
awesome.
kind of fun. And it's like an illusion that works. It's an illusion, but it's for real.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
All Yeah Comics is me and my buddies. We own a comic shop.
Mhm.
We own 3 comic shops, one in Chicago, Skokie near Chicago, one in Muncie, Indiana, and one in Harrison, New York.
Wow.
And we also have publishing, Oh Yeah Comics Publishing, which is the
Mhm.
stuff online, and
Yep.
we print our own books and we sell them in our stores at conventions and things of
Cool.
our own characters. So it's weird that we have all these companies, and I don't feel like the tycoon kind of guy, but I am a CEO.
Yeah, right?
You know, when you think
Seriously.
about it.
Yeah. Pat yourself on the back. You
Yeah.
earned that one. There you
But there's
go.
just stuff like we always thrive at things, and when people say you can't do that, that's crazy. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try.
There you go.
So we have stores, publishing, art studios. We have t-shirts now and then. We have plushy toys. It's
Oh,
kind
I
of cool.
know. Oh, I have one. I'm getting to the plushie toy. I
Oh
have
yeah.
one over here. I sure do.
That's
Um,
cool.
I know. So I know you work with Franco a lot on projects, and we talked about
Yeah.
that. And your styles are so seamless together, and it just seems like you guys work so well together. So what are you both currently working on, or what like future projects do you guys have going on?
Yeah. I'm working on a few projects that have been announced, and they're coming out with publishers with
Mm.
Gilbert, my little merman. I'm
Yeah.
working on book 4 of him right now. And the books are coming out with paper cuts.
Mm,
Book 4 is coming out next year. I'm working on it right now. I just sent a few pages in today.
cool.
And then Drew and Jot is a 3-book deal. I got 3-book series with number 1 book came out this year in January. And
Wow.
I'm working on book 2. I think it's coming out next year or 2022. I'm not sure because these trying times have delayed a lot of the publishing, so they
Yeah.
push it all back.
Yeah, that's
Those are
good.
that's my 2 creator owned stuff. But
Cool.
just last week, a new collection of Tiny Titans came out, a little trade paperback. Yeah, and it just hit like maybe yesterday or today's Wednesday. Yeah,
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah,
It might have been yesterday, and I forget because I don't know. Every day is the same to me. But then,
right.
but then next week on the 8th is our new book from DC Comics called Archimaniacs with little Bruce Wayne and little Joker and Alfred and everybody's
I
in there.
think I saw that on Instagram actually. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, oh my goodness, that looks so good.
and that one's a cool one because it feels like Tiny Titans, but
Mhm.
it's with the bad guys, the
Um,
Arkham residents.
yeah, and they're my favorite, by the way. Like
They are.
they're all bunches of crazy in one building, and I absolutely love it.
Oh, they're awesome.
They're my
I
favorite.
I love Killer Croc. I love Clayface. I like all the big crazy guys. And Joker's
Clayface,
cool too.
Clayface
Yeah.
is getting more popular. Like all of a sudden, like he wasn't like a big deal, but all of a sudden, I feel like he's becoming more of a big deal. Like he's being used in a lot more stuff recently. I feel,
Oh
which is fine
yeah.
with me. So, and
Yeah, he could be the worst villain for Batman if he just does it right. Like he could turn into anybody. He could
right?
be like the chameleon with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, he really could. But that's cool. I
I
can't.
know.
I got stories with him in my mind. Hopefully one day
I
I'll
know.
be able to draw him.
Harley's
Make
my
that
favorite.
guy.
I saw your drawing of Harley and I was like, oh, I absolutely love it.
Oh yeah.
My favorite.
She's fun. Yeah.
Always. So
Arkham's gonna be fun.
I wanted to show off some of your stuff. Speaking of the plushies,
Yeah.
because we are huge supporters, and so we've
Oh yeah, there he is.
because our dog's name is Ace the Bat Hound. So
Oh,
we
cool.
actually have an Ace and we absolutely love him. We have one that's still sealed. This is the one that my son gets to play with every once in a while.
That's
then,
cool.
We just picked this up actually this past weekend. So
All right.
yeah,
Cool. They're
we
out.
again. We got Ace. So we picked that one up. And then the toys, like first of all, this is genius.
Oh
What
yeah.
in the world? This is genius. This is right up our alley. We love toys, and this is called, in case you guys didn't see it, it's Action Figure Jam. Like it's amazing. It's like got all your cool action figures in there. Like
Yeah, that's
you guys
fun.
need to check this out if you haven't seen it already. And
Yeah.
fortunately, we got you to sign it for us.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, for our little guy. So when he gets old enough, he'll be able to read this book.
Yeah.
And then flashback.
Yeah, there it is. Tiny Titan school bus.
Yeah, so this has been in our collection for quite some time, and I absolutely love it. And our son keeps trying to steal it, and yeah, he's not allowed. And he signed this one too. So yeah. So
yeah, it's a limited edition.
no, I'm like, seriously, you cannot play with it. But he's really good about knowing, what he can and can't play with. For
cool.
3 years old, he kind of gets it. Especially since most of it's in the cases. But with this, it brings us to the subject we love to talk about, which is toys. So I was happy to hear that you are a fellow toy lover and a collector. So tell us about, before we get into what you collect now, like what toys did you play with as a kid? Like what were you always playing with?
Oh, I was playing with Mego action figures, the classic retro superheroes with the cloth clothes and the boots that come off and stuff. I had all those guys since I'm a little kid, and I still have my same collection.
Oh, that's
since I got them when I was maybe 4 years old. I started getting Batman with the removable cowl and Robin.
Yeah.
I would lose all their stuff all the time, and I probably got 3 versions of the characters because I would lose stuff, and if you lose it or throw it in a swimming pool or bury it in the mud in the yard or whatever, they get lost and they would break. So Mom would buy another Batman, and that one day we got a Batman and his mask didn't come off. I'm like, what's up with this guy? He doesn't come off. So I knew I had the original ones, and I must have had about 4 Spider-Man throughout my life, when I was a kid. Now I have about 8 of them, 10 of them, because I keep buying Spider-Man when I see them.
Right.
I keep buying them.
I know.
But those were cool. And then when Star Wars hit, it was all about Star Wars.
Oh, cool.
I got every Star Wars figure. I have all on my shelf right here. I have 4 shelving with the plastic shelving with all the characters and all the spaceships set up. The Death Star's in there, Millennium Falcon. I got the Ewok Village. They're all there.
I love that Ewok Village. Oh my goodness.
It's cool. So I have all that stuff. And to this day I still collect Megos. I still collect Star Wars. I collect superhero action figures from Superpowers and Secret Wars figures.
Yeah.
And yeah, most of my collections are Star Wars and superheroes. But other guys sneak in there too.
Yeah, that's the worst part because like I just love cool toys. Like I'll be walking down the toy aisle and it's not something I collect, but I'm like, that's a really nice sculpt. Should I buy it? And then I have to sit there and talk myself out of not getting it because I'm like, what do I need this like action figure for? It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But that's the toy lovers in us. But so let's talk more about those Megos that you have. So not only are you a collector of like original Megos, but you get a lot of custom ones done. So I was looking at those. Those are so neat. So tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, and in 2006, I was walking in a convention. I was in Florida. I was a guest of the show. So when it gets slow, I walk around and I walked past the table. This guy had all these boots, little Mego boots, blue boots, green boots, yellow boots. I'm looking like, wait a minute. I said, looked at the guy. I'm like, where'd you get all these boots?
Mhm.
And he says, why? Who do you work for?
Who do you
I
work
said,
for?
what? I said, I draw comic books. He said, who do you work for? I said, Disney. And then he went away. Because I was working at for Disney at the time for the magazine.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, why did he get scared? And I'm looking at the boots, and he came back, and I said, can I buy some of these? And he went, oh, you want to buy them? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, so what do you do for Disney? I said, draw comic books. Like, I want to
Yeah.
buy some of your
Yeah,
stuff.
just want to buy boots.
Yeah. And I said, how did you get these? I didn't realize that they were all repro parts.
Mhm.
And that was my friend. His friend now. His name's Dr. Migo, and he works for Migo. He makes all these parts. So
Wow.
when I was talking to him, and I was picking out boots, man, I'll take some green boots and these blue ones because I had a naked Green Arrow at home who needed
Oh,
stuff. I
there you
needed
go.
Batman cape and all this.
Yep.
So right before me, he took a head, and then he took a body, put the head on a body, and it was a Bruce Wayne head. And then he took an outfit and he assembled Batman with the removable cowl because I was telling him that I had Migos since I'm a kid. And he made a Batman in front of me. And he goes, here
Wow.
you go. I'm like, what? He goes,
Yeah.
yours for $20. Like, okay.
Like,
And I
yes,
gave money.
please.
I said, can you make me another one?
Right. It's like, please take my money.
Yeah.
Take my money.
So he made me another one, and he said, what color? I'm like, you can make another. Like, what color do you have? And he says, because he gave me a blue one, blue and gray. And he goes, I can make you the black and gray. Yes. So then I had two of them. I'm like, this is so cool. So I ended up buying all the parts from him. Then I realized, like, he gave me his catalog, and then on the catalog there were links, or on his website there were links to go to these other Migos stuff. So I discovered the Migo Museum. It's his website that has, it's like a Migo Museum. They have pages and pages of old photos of Migos and current. It's like a catalog, encyclopedia.
Wow.
And then I discovered they had a forum. I never knew what forums were. I never read any forums, like chat rooms and stuff. But then I joined that. And then I discovered all these other guys who were making custom figures. And meanwhile, when I ordered from Dr. Migo's catalog, I ordered parts to make like Green Lantern and the Flash and all the missing guys, Hawkman, Kid Flash, Speedy, all the Teen Titans I needed.
Oh, wow.
And so I started assembling all these guys. And then when I met the people at the forums, there's this show called Migo Meet. I went to Migo Meet, and I brought all my custom figures. At this time I had maybe 20 of them, 30 of them.
Oh, wow.
And I just all the guys that I made, like all the guys who were missing, Flash, Green Lantern, and all these guys. So I set them all up, and then I walked the floor and just bought all these parts, these amazing parts. And people, I discovered people cast their own heads. They cast their own weapons and they sew their own outfits. So I got into the customizing community immediately. Once I discovered it, I started customizing figures, and I currently have probably up to 400 customized figures.
Wow.
Yeah.
That you've done?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's
since I
awesome.
started in 2006.
Wow.
And the first time, because the first Migo Meet I've been to, I brought like maybe 30, 40, 50, maybe not that. I think I brought my own guys and then the customs. So it was just my collection. It was small. It was small and humble. And then the next year I remember I brought 90 because I made a rack that held 90 guys.
Wow.
And then the next time I brought 3 of those racks, and I brought like 300 guys, and I started counting them, and now I can't bring all of the figures with me because they don't all fit in my car.
Oh my goodness.
So it was pretty cool. And now I became like a close friend to all the guys who do customizing, and we all know each other.
Wow.
And it's been cool. It's been a cool hobby.
That's fun.
And you can make any guy you want if you want. I'm making the guys from Pulp Fiction right now, and I'm making because I found those Titan toys. They make Doctor Who. They're like 3-inch figures, but their heads are real big. They look like bobbleheads. Well, if you take those heads and put them on a Migo body, they're just a little larger. They're a little bit big, but if you have all the guys together, they look cool. So I have Breaking Bad guys, and I have Pulp Fiction guys, and I have a few guys from I'm making Morpheus from the Matrix because they did a Lawrence Fishburne head somewhere. So
Really?
I find all these actors.
Never mind. Not surprised.
So I mean, there's guys who make Mego customs of Star Wars, and I haven't tried that one
Oh,
yet. I
wow.
haven't tried Star Wars guys because I have a whole bunch of the small guys, but I've been making Thundercats. I made the Thundercats.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Thundercats are cool. I made a whole bunch. I made all the X-Men. I made the original X-Men. I made a
Wow.
whole bunch of guys. I got Animal Man, Professor Zoom, all kinds of guys.
Wow.
And if they're not made, then I try to figure out how to make them.
Right.
It's kind of cool.
Now I'm a little frightened because I'm thinking like my husband has a really weird obsession with Mr. T and it's like getting really out of hand. And now I'm really terrified that there's a Mr. T out there or that it can be made because
Yeah, I
now.
made one. There's the Remco toys. Remco a few years ago made, well, in the 80s, they made Rocky toys. They look like He-Man, the
Yeah,
He-Man bodies,
uh-huh.
but they have squishy heads.
Mm-hmm.
And you could take the head off and it fits over. The new Mego bodies have a neck peg. Instead of the hole, they have a peg, and you could fit the Remco body right over it, and it's perfect. And I have Mr. T. I made him into Clubber Lang, but he's still Mr. T.
I'm never gonna escape him. He's everywhere. Like he has the weirdest stuff. He's like a water toy. It's like a squirt water toy, and like he has a Cabbage Patch doll, a really creepy one that now has shoes. Like he bought special shoes for it, and now I'm
Oh,
frightened
cool.
because now it can be a thing. So I might be asking you for pictures of
That's
that to
cool.
show him because that's insane. So yeah, no more Mr. T.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so what are some customs that like you're hoping to get done? Like what are ones that you want to work on? Or like what are some holy grail type pieces that you haven't started but you want to work on?
Oh, man, I have a lot. I'm currently working on a new X-Men team,
Hmm.
which I have all the ones I made, like Cyclops and Jean Grey and Wolverine, and like Wolverine yellow costume, first appearance costume, brown costume. I have all these, but now I'm making a team of X-Men that are my own design costume. It's kind of like, well,
Oh,
they're based off of the remember X-Force when Cyclops had blue but a yellow X,
yeah.
and the Beast was blue with a red X and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Well, I'm doing that. I'm doing that costume for each member. Like I have a Nightcrawler who's right now I think I have him black suit with a red X, and I have Wolverine with the
Oh,
black suit but an orange X. So I'm
oh,
doing that kind
cool.
of thing, and I have
Neat.
Colossus with yellow or a red outfit with the yellow X. So I have their colors. So I'm working on those, and those are looking pretty cool. And then I'm also working on an original X-Men team, but I'm making guys in the X-Men who have never been in there. Like I've got Kid
Oh,
Flash in the X-Men,
there
and I
you
got
go.
Batman.
Right.
Yeah, and he's like the yellow and black outfits, like with
Yeah.
the original Jack Kirby. And I
Mhm.
made a Hellboy in the original X-Men with
That
his
sounds awesome.
yellow.
That
Yeah,
sounds
they're pretty
actually
cool.
really, yeah, that sounds awesome.
So I got a team. I got Batman in an X-Men suit.
That's
So
cool.
they're fun to
I
do,
might have to
and
stay
I
tuned.
like going to. Yeah, I got to finish them. I wish all my guys are over there, but I would have brought a few. But they're all over my
Yeah.
website, Facebook. I made videos. I do videos almost every day. I do a video, and once in a while, I'll do a famous cartoonist reveals things video
Oh.
where I show action figures. So I did a reveals video where I opened up my tub of custom Migos and just kept pulling them out and showing them.
Wow.
I have a ton of guys in there. I have like all of I made a ton of them. I got a bunch of bad guys, a bunch of Batman bad guys like Scarecrow and Killer Croc,
Yeah.
and I've made multiple
Scarecrow.
Jokers.
I like
I
Scarecrow.
just made a whole bunch. Yeah, he's
Wow.
cool.
So yeah, I might be
Yeah.
messaging you after this to see some of these because now I'm really interested because I saw my husband essentially put his figure together and I saw like I thought it would have been a lot like harder to put them together like
Yeah.
customizing and I thought they'd be a lot more expensive, but it's
hmm
really affordable and it's actually kind of fun. So
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm
They could get expensive because
yeah.
there's some heads that you could get a head for like $5. Other guys want $15, or you could
Mhm.
get a suit for $10 or 20, $30. So when
Yeah.
you're done, maybe there could be a custom that costs almost $100 to make them,
Mhm.
but most of them are not that much.
Yeah.
Depends what you want to do with it,
Yeah,
you know,
that's true too. So now I'm
but
just
they're
kind
cool.
of like, now what do I want? Like, can I do this? Like now, and now I'm kind of interested because I saw him just and go in there and like click things and put it in his cart, and all of a sudden, bam, he's got a figure. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's actually kind of neat. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it is
I'm
fun.
I'm probably gonna be messaging you and like wanting to see some of your stuff, and then maybe if we start dabbling, who knows? That's probably a whole nother toy thing that I just opened. So I just probably opened a whole nother Pandora's box of toys. But it's
Yeah, once you get, and all the guys told me, like once you get past your Falcon or not Falcon, who's the guys? The Flash, Green Lantern,
yeah.
Hawkman, and then Marvel, you want to do Wolverine, Cyclops.
Yeah.
Once you get past those guys, you're not done because now you're gonna make Planet of the Apes. I made a ton of Planet of the Apes characters.
Oh wow.
I made astronauts that weren't even in the movie. I made more guys.
Wow.
So I just make stuff.
That's
So
cool.
it just overwhelms. Yeah.
Awesome.
But I like it. I haven't had time lately, but I'll get back into it. And I'm making my own guys from Powers in Action into Migos now. And
That's
and
neat.
yeah, I've been buying bodies and parts and costumes so I could build them and put them in packages and sell them, possibly sell them at conventions and
Neat.
sell them on my website and stuff. Yeah.
I'd say that's genius. That's a good idea.
Thanks.
I love it.
I'm trying.
I know. Well, those are all the questions I had. I mean, I really appreciate you coming on here, and this is a fun interview, and I'm really glad I got to learn more about you and about
Oh,
you know, all
yeah.
the things that you've done and your love of toys. And now I'm kind of interested in Mego, so I kind of just dug my own grave on that one. But it was a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah, there's lots of cool Migos stuff to look at online, and
Yeah.
it'll embrace you. It'll pull you in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure because now I'm
Mhm.
really interested. I'm about to go Google it. So great.
I
And
know.
next they'll be like my next videos be look at my Migos, guys. Like it's gonna be a whole thing. So
Yeah.
it is. Oh well. But there are worse things out there than Migos. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah. I have a lot of them, and whenever I get a package in the mail that's on the doorstep, or I bring it in, and it has my name on it, and the kid's like, "What's in there, Migos? Migo
Yeah,
parts?"
right.
Like, possibly.
Yeah, no, my son comes home, he's like, Daddy, there's a package. It's a He-Man. Like he pretty much knows what's in the package.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I've been buying stuff. I still buy stuff. It's I don't buy as much. I don't need every guy in the collection now. I don't need every
okay.
figure. I'm
Yeah.
very selective now, but I still buy Star Wars, and I'm into the new I like the retro line, but when they make new guys, like they just made that new Mandalorian set, I want to
Oh
get
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I ordered it, and then I like the vintage ones that move with the elbows and knees, the new guys.
Yeah.
But I go 3 3/4. I can't get the 6 inch because then I got to start them all over.
Yeah.
Then I'll need them all.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole. And the people that make the toys know this. They know that we're gonna come back for the plastic rack. They know that we're in for the long haul. They know this.
Yeah, because
So
they changed the shoulder pad on the Stormtrooper. Now I need it.
yeah,
Yep.
that's right
That's
there.
Commander Rex.
That's my husband. Like for the He-Man, the new Origins that came out, there's a box that says it's a plain regular box with the art, and then there's one that says new for 2020. So of course my husband has to have one box that doesn't have it on it, and he has to have one box that has new for 2020. I'm just like, you guys are kidding me.
But does he keep them in package or open them?
See, that's the thing. He has one in package, one open.
Okay. Yeah,
so I mean, and especially if it's like the Manny faces, the new one that came out, since it has like the different face in each package. So he's trying to collect one monster face forward, one robot face forward, and I'm just like, oh my God,
That's funny.
You guys knew what you were doing. I can't be mad at you.
Yeah, the variations. Yeah.
Yeah.
I open up all my stuff. I have 0 things in packages. Even when I bought years ago, I bought a R2D2 pop-up lightsaber in the package, and I buy it and open up right in front of the guy. Like, he's like, what are you doing? I said, I want to touch him.
Attacks,
and then I open him, moving his head. That's how I do stuff, and people freak out. You just spent $100. Like, I know. I want it.
$100 to play with it. That's what.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And
No,
I finally
I do that sometimes too. I'll open stuff on videos, and then my husband's just like, he's cringing back there, like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm opening it. That's what I'm doing. I'm having fun playing with it.
I like it. Yeah. Toys are cool. I want to touch them. I always tell people if I leave it in a package, I'll just go to the store and look at it. you
Yeah,
know.
true. That is true. I'm gonna use
Look at
that
it
on
at
I'm
the
gonna use
store.
that on him later. Oh, he doesn't know it yet. I'm gonna use
Yeah, I looked at him, Manny faces at
right.
the store.
Yeah,
But
just go take a picture at the store. And
yeah,
look. Oh,
there it
that's
is.
genius. Oh, he's gonna.
Yeah, I like opening them and touching them, moving her arms, putting a gun in her hand, and stuff like that,
Oh, I know
or
all the
lightsaber.
action poses.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Are you gonna watch Mandalorian tonight?
See, okay. So I am not much of a Star Wars fan, and I've tried. I really have. And I've
Hmm.
watched The Mandalorian. I watched the last one and it was really good, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm in it for Baby Yoda
Okay.
or Grogu,
Grogu. Yeah.
whatever, Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
I'm in it for him. He's adorable, and I'm just like 90% of the chicks that are, digging Baby
Yeah.
Yoda. So
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the one show I can't wait to see, and I'll stay up all night just to wait for it to come on. And
Mhm.
but I watched that show like 3 times before even Saturday comes. I'll watch it
Yeah.
live, and then I'll watch it again in the morning. Then I'll watch it at night on Friday. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like some of the best TV ever. The best Star Wars.
Yeah, it really is good though. I'm not gonna lie. It's just
Hmm.
for some reason Star Wars and I don't click. I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. You're
Yeah, but
not
it's
everybody.
it's very well done, and I a lot of people are really interested in it, and I love it. It like visually it's great. It's just I can't I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird and I don't like Star Trek either because I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Yeah, I
not
don't
a
like
space
Star
person.
Trek.
Maybe I'm just not a space person. Because my opinion, you're either one or the other. I've not met a lot of Star Wars and Star Trek. It's kind of
Yeah.
the other. But I'm not on board with either. I don't know. I'm
What
broken.
kind of toys do you like? What kind like do you collect?
I'm collecting Barbies again,
Oh,
unfortunately.
cool.
Like the Barbies that I used to play with when I was a kid. Like I have Spice Girl Barbies back there. Those had all those.
Oh, nice.
Um, and just like little random action figures. Like I love digging through bins of toys and just finding like really weird, obscure action figures.
Nice.
And I actually enjoy collecting He-Man. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of fun. So
Well, he's cool. Yeah, He-Man's
yeah.
awesome.
And then Pops, of course, because everybody
Oh
collects
yeah,
Pops.
Funko Pops. Yeah.
Yeah, they're addictive. I can't.
I've been buying the Funko bobbleheads with the Hanna-Barbera characters. They came out a few years ago, but I couldn't afford them then,
Mm,
or I passed them up, or missed them, or something
yeah,
happened. I wasn't aware, but now I'm buying them all on wherever I can find them, and they're cool.
yeah.
Squidly Diddly and Adamant and Secret Squirrel and
Oh,
all those guys.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No, and plus they're so easy to find now. Like I'm a huge fan of Facebook Marketplace, and
Yeah.
they sell them all over. Like I think my husband we just got one off of there. It's the Batman, and it's like an artist collection. It's Target exclusive, and it looks like graffiti on the Batman. It's like really
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah. So we got one
Those
of
are
those.
cool.
I'm looking at I have an Easy E, I have a Notorious B.I.G., and I have CC Pop. I was looking at they're like right over there, and like they're
Those
my
are cool.
favorites.
Oh, awesome.
They're my favorites. So
Very cool.
yeah, we love toys around here. Every room has a toy in it. Every room,
Hmm.
every room. But
Most of mine are down in my art studio, but there is evidence that I live here throughout the house.
right. Yeah, there's muscles in random places, like
Yeah.
everywhere. Like everywhere you look, there is a
Yeah.
toy. I'm telling you. And then
That's cool.
hopefully when I hit 125 subscribers, I'm gonna do a tour of a room. I don't know which one, but
Nice.
they're gonna get a room tour. Everyone's asking for the He-Man room, so we'll see.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That'll be awesome.
that's
Exciting.
great.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. Well,
Very
thank
cool.
you so much for joining us tonight. I'll let you go enjoy the rest of your night. And
Oh, you're welcome.
guys, check the description below. We're gonna have a ton of information on all his stuff, and definitely check out his stuff. Read the books, and I mean, he's done a lot. Go visit the website, and go check out his Migos too. So,
Yeah. I
all
draw
right,
all kinds of
guys.
stuff.
Thank you so much, Art, for joining us
Oh, you're
tonight.
awesome.
All right,
Cool.
see you
Good
guys
seeing you.
later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing my interview.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we love toys way too much. Too much. Like, look,
Nice.
these are my sons, his little like Wild West
Oh,
toys.
yeah.
You're sitting here, literally, you are always within arm's reach of a toy in this house.
Mm-hmm. I got some too. I got Scarecrow. These guys are the ones put on eBay. I got a Scarecrow.
Oh, I've seen
There's
it.
a Killer Croc.
They're cool.
I got a big Flash. There's always guys. There's
Goodness.
guys all over.
Yeah, it's really
But
bad.
they're just stuff.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
I'll let you get back to your evening because it's 10 o'clock here and I'm old.
Oh yeah.
So
And you got kids, it sounds like.
yes,
got
I have
little ones.
I have a 3-year-old who
Oh.
last night he was sick last night. He was throwing up for some odd reason, like at 4 a.m. So I've been up since 4 a.m. and he stayed home from school. He stayed home with John today, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
How old are yours now?
14, 17, and 34.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
I
well,
have 2 teens and a man. Yeah.
yeah. Well, John's has his Dave is 25 now.
Okay.
And he has a 14 and now a 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got them spread out.
That's what I said. I was
Every
like, you're
10
not
years.
doing this every 11 years. You're not. I said,
No.
it's the last one. You're finished.
Yeah, you could be done. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, you've got 3. All boys, all, I'm like, you're good. You're done. No more 11 years. Like, I'm not doing this when I'm like 40 something. Not.
Yeah, no more.
No. Yeah, he's good. Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Well, you
This is
enjoy
true.
your evening, and I'll tell John.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
don't know
This was
where
real
he went,
cool.
so cool. And I'll let you know when the video goes up too. John has them all scheduled out
Awesome.
when they release, so I'll definitely let you know when it comes up.
Nice.
Awesome.
I will link it and post it and all that stuff.
Aw, thanks. I appreciate it. All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening, and yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You have some really cool stuff. So
thank you. Yeah, I will. I'm gonna draw some more super pets tonight. So
super pets.
before the Mandalorian.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's probably what he's waiting for downstairs. That's probably what it is. So. All right.
Yeah,
You enjoy
4 more hours.
Art.
Cool. All right. Good seeing you.
Bye-bye.
You're awesome. Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, fellow toy lovers. So tonight, I just wanted to give you a huge thank you. We have made it to 150 subscribers. And as I said before, I started at 2. And I've grown to 150, and I've grown a lot just this past week. So I want to thank you guys so much for the support. I've had a blast. I mean, I'm buying toys and I'm showing you what I buy. So it's been really fun. I'm getting to know people in the toy community. I'm going on all types of adventures. And I'm just having so much fun with this. And I want to thank you for joining me. So now that we met our 150, I need another goal. So our new one is going to be 200. So if we make it to 200, I want to show you another room in the house, because you guys seem to have really enjoyed the Masters of the Universe room. So why don't we show off something else? I mean, we are working on a new toy room. So continue to like and subscribe. Get your friends to like and subscribe. And then eventually we'll get to see another room in the house, because there's so many. And maybe I'll do viewer's choice again. So put in the comments what kind of room you would like to see, and then we can get that happening. But man, it's been a journey, and God, it's been so full of Mr. T. It's been so full of Funko. It's been ridiculous. But yeah, I still have a beef with Mr. T. Like, you, Mr. T, wherever you are, you're ridiculous. All of it. There's merchandise with your face on it that I can't even comprehend. And we have so much of it. You are so much in my house. It's not even funny. So, like, it's like all I hear is, I pity the fool who doesn't have my merchandise. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. That was a little thing I had to go off on. But it's been a fun ride, everybody. And stay tuned, because there are more videos to come, more giveaways, more tours, more interviews, more everything. So thanks, guys. Mwah.